This is Jarrod Horak, and in this video, I'll take a look at the latest Belmont Stakes news for Thursday, May 22nd. As I said yesterday, 6 horses possible for the Belmont Stakes at this time. We have your Kentucky Derby winner, Sovereignty, Preakness winner, Journalism, Kentucky Derby show finisher, Baeza, Peter Pan winner, Hill Road, Wood Memorial winner, Rodriguez, and UAE Derby runner-up, Heart of Honor, most recently 5th in the Preakness Stakes. Now, there are 2 runners under consideration for the Belmont Stakes other than those 6, and I will get to them momentarily. As for your Preakness winner, Journalism, he returned to the track for the first time since his dramatic win in the second leg of the Triple Crown. He jogged at Saratoga on Thursday under his regular exercise rider, Mark Witkowski, and that rider was pleased with his energy level and said that he felt the same as he did prior to the Preakness Stakes. Now, Journalism is stabled at Todd Pletcher's barn at Saratoga, and that does make sense because Journalism's trainer, Michael McCarthy, was Todd Pletcher's assistant trainer for many years before going out on his own. Now, Heart of Honor, he arrived at Saratoga on May 21st. He walked the shed row on May 22nd, and he was your UAE Derby runner-up. He just missed in that race, and then he shipped to this country to run in the Preakness Stakes, but he lost his best chance when he broke slow that day. So his trainer, Jamie Osborne, he's going to school him at the gate at Saratoga in hopes of getting a better start in the Belmont Stakes. And a decision on whether to breeze him prior to the Belmont has not been made at this time. Now, I've talked about 2 other runners under consideration. They're both trained by Todd Pletcher, and those horses are late blooming Crudo and Wood Memorial runner-up Grande. Now, Crudo was the beaten favorite in his debut. That was on February 8th. And then second time out, he ran much better because he was able to get out there and control the pace, and he romped to an easy maiden special weight victory as the heavy favorite at 7 furlongs at Keeneland in his second start on April 19th. And then he made his stakes debut in the Sir Barton Stakes on the Preakness undercard, and once again, from that inside post, he was able to make the lead, controlled the pace, and he just aired and won easily by 7.5 lengths. So at this point, Todd Pletcher said all options are on the table, including the Belmont Stakes, but the third leg of the Triple Crown might be too much too soon. So they haven't made a decision. Seems like they're leaning in other directions, but they are keeping the Belmont in the back of their minds. And as for Crudo, he does look a bit like Todd Pletcher's 2024 Belmont entrant Mindframe. Now for Mindframe, he won his first 2 career starts, and then he ended up finishing second in the Belmont Stakes in his third start. Now, I think his inexperience really did cost him in the Belmont last year. He stalked wide from the outside post. He had the lead in the stretch, but then he failed to run a straight line in the stretch, and Dornoch, who was the early leader, was able to come back on him and win by a half length. So we'll have to see. Maybe they think Crudo might need another start before jumping into the deep waters like the Belmont, but he is a talented horse, and he would impact the pace if he did run in the Belmont. As for Grande, he won his first 2 career starts on January 11th and February 27th, and then he stalked wide, and he was clearly second best behind front-running winner Rodriguez in the Wood Memorial. So Grande did lose a lot of ground that day. It was a good effort, and then both of those horses ended up having foot issues. Rodriguez had a foot issue that knocked him out of the Derby and the Preakness, and Grande had a hoof issue, and he was forced out of the Kentucky Derby. So he has arrived at Saratoga. He's been galloping there. And just like Crudo, all options are on the table, including an appearance in the Belmont Stakes. We'll have to see what they decide to do with Grande. Pletcher has won the Belmont Stakes 4 times, so he would like to compete in the Belmont. And as I said, he was a close second last year. He almost got his 5th win in the Belmont with Mindframe last year. Now let's talk about how the main track might play at Saratoga on Belmont Stakes Day. And we're going to look back to the 2024 Belmont card for some clues on that. There were 8 races on the main track on Belmont Day at Saratoga last June. 2 horses went wire to wire, and they were randomized in National Treasure. National Treasure was in the Met Mile. That was a nice effort there. He just controlled the pace. Now, 4 of the winners on dirt chased from second, and they were General Partner, Subrogate, Baby Yoda, and Dornoch in the Belmont Stakes. And then 2 horses rallied from off the pace to win. Croupi went last to first at 1.25 miles in the Suburban Stakes, and Bookham Dano rallied from off the pace to win the Grade 1 Woody Stevens at 7 furlongs. So as we saw 2 races at 1.25 miles on Belmont Day last year at Saratoga, and we had Dornoch, your Belmont winner. He ended up chasing from second, And then I mentioned Mindframe ended up finishing second in the Belmont there last year, and he ended up stalking wide from post 10. And then your Belmont show finisher, Sierra Leone, was rallying from off the pace. And as I said, Croupi went last to first in that Suburban and a mile and a quarter. So the mile and a quarter races played fair at Saratoga last year. Have to see if that's the case again. A lot's going to depend on how the track is playing that week at Saratoga. What kind of race flow are we going to have in the Belmont Stakes? Things like that to consider. But at least it's worth looking back at last year and see that there were 8 races on dirt Belmont Day. 2 horses went wire to wire, 4 horses chased from second, and 2 horses rallied from off the pace. We're going to have to see how the track plays this year. We'll find that out in the coming days and during Belmont Week. Now, they will be conducting 5 days of live racing at Saratoga for Belmont Week, June 4th through 8th this year, and I will be covering multiple Belmont Week full cards, including Belmont Stakes Day Saturday, June 7th. You can find my full cards at therunawayhorse.com on my shop page, and I will add a link to that shop page in the video description below. I've been covering full cards online since the late 1990s. I've had a lot of success in the Belmont Stakes. I've mentioned that in recent videos. Last 11 Belmont Stakes, I've had winning tickets in 8 of the 11 years. Let's see if I can get more success this year. For the Derby this year, had the suggested win wager, exacta, and trifecta over almost $1,000 in profit for that race. And then for the Preakness Stakes, had the win and the trifecta there, and a nice a profit in that Preakness Stakes as well. So we're well ahead heading into the 3rd leg of the Triple Crown this year. Let's see if we can get our own Triple Crown sweep for my full cards and have winning tickets for all 3 of the races this year for the Derby, Preakness, and Belmont. And stay tuned for all of my Belmont Stakes coverage in the coming days and weeks on my channel. Don't forget to like, comment, and share these videos if you like them. Subscribe to my channel as well. It's free to subscribe. And until I see you next time, good luck at the races.